Simmpli is our software tool to manage and organize projects and teams. In this video, we will be explaining how Simmpli Kanban board works and how can you use it. Log in with your credentials. And click on the tracker on the top right corner. This is our tracker page. You can see all the recent activities relevant to the project here. You can also see the activities the team is performing. On the left is the list of all the projects that you are involved in. You can search for the project you are looking for by typing the project name in the search bar. Below is the option for you to create a new project. Simply click on Add Project here. Add the project name and description if any. This is your project's dashboard. This dashboard shows you all the recent activities of a specific project. As of now, you don't see anything here, but once we will start creating stories, that is, adding the task, or creating a new pipeline, etc., you will be able to see the activity with the date and time of when it happened. On the left, you can see the project name, basically the project you are viewing currently. To view or switch to other projects you are involved in, just click the arrow next to the project name and you will be taken to their dashboard. On the right, you can see the project summary, total stories, and users. Below is the icon for adding a user. Click on it. Add the email ID of the team member. The name is already fetched. Select the role of the member, for instance, whether the member is just a user, tester, or a client. Click on Add User and it's done. Once you add a user, they get notified via email. Also, when they log into their tracker, they will be able to see the new projects they have been added to. To view the number of users involved in this project, simply click on Users on the left sidebar. And you will be able to see all the users with the information like the number of hours they have worked, the number of stories assigned to them, and the date when they were added. On the bottom right corner, you have the option to add users also. So you can add users from both the dashboard, like we just did, and also from the user section on the left sidebar. It's the same procedure. This was our dashboard. Now let's move on to the next board. Click on it. Now, this is the important section as you will create all the stories and pipelines relevant to a specific project. These are the basic pipelines. You will see them by default whenever you create a new project. To do, in progress, finished and archived. So let's start by adding a story for the project. A story is basically a task. Click on the plus icon or button on the bottom right corner and name the task. For instance, we can name the story as Link is not working. Click on the arrow and it's created. The story can be seen under the to-do list. The story represents an issue or a bug. Now we will assign and add more information to the story. Click on the story. When it opens, you will see various different options. On the top is the name of the story with the story number. On the right are the categories. First, let's assign the task to a user. Click on the assignee and you will see all the users of the project in a drop-down menu. Choose the user and click on the green tick to confirm. If we go back to the board, you can see the image of the user to whom the story has been assigned to work on. Click on Edit on the top to add any important description regarding the story, like the link on the website does not redirect. Press Enter. You will be able to see the description added under the story name. You can also attach any document or images relevant to the story by clicking on the attachment icon here. Once done, click on Upload to upload the file. Although when you are working on a high-level project, it is advised to add all the important pointers in the description that concern the issue for a clear picture. Next, you add an estimate. This basically tells the complexity of the story and how much time it will take. As you can see, the fields inside the categories are not listed here to select yet. So, to add the fields in these categories, we need to go back to the board and either click on the plus icon here on the top or on the categories on the sidebar. Now select the category milestone and add the name of the field, milestone 1 for instance. You can add the start and end date if needed in the description and click on Save. Now click on the story and you can see the field that was created for the milestone when we click on it. Add the milestones by clicking on milestone 1. And click on the green tick to show where the issue has risen. Milestones are the requirements of a client usually mentioned in the technical document. This helps the team to keep track of progress. Add fields to the other categories as well, like we did for the milestone. Go back to the board and click on the plus icon and assign all the categories. Add version to show from which version has the issue risen from. It's a unique identifier of a release. Add sprint to define the week of the deliverable. Like July 1st week or 2nd week, etc. Next is module. If a project is too big, it is usually divided into modules. Add module to define a particular part of the project where this issue has arisen, like the tracker or the timeline, etc. Next is release. Define in which release the issue will be executed. Release here means when the developers have to submit a build. Label. Use this category to define the severity of the issue, like critical, bug, etc. You can add any term in the label that is used by your team to understand the level or type of issue. Now go back to board. You can see the story link is not working, with all the information we just added. Milestone, version, sprint, module, label, estimate, etc. It is advisable to add the categories while assigning the story, as it allows the user to understand the story in a glimpse and what action is required. Now, the categories you see above the pipelines are your filter. When there are numerous stories, it becomes difficult to find the story you are looking for. So, use these filters according to the categories to find out what you are looking for. Use the search bar to find your story as well and to avoid any duplication. There are times when you might end up creating the same story. To cross-check whether the story exists or not, you can use the search feature. You can make the search with either with ID, title, story description, etc. Now let's understand the life cycle of a story. The managers can view this life cycle to keep a track of progress pertaining to the particular story and what the team member is doing currently. Let's take the scenario of a software development company. Firstly, create the flow of your process by creating the pipelines. Click on the plus icon next to the pipeline, add name and color and create. So the pipelines for the development process may include other than the already created ones are PR review, to test, test pass, test fail, etc. You have the option to minimize the pipeline. This helps you keep your board sorted. Edit the name and color of the pipeline. Delete the pipeline if no longer required. The enable and disable option allows you to lock the pipeline. We have created a story. The link is not working. Once the assigned user or the developer starts working on the issue, the story will be dragged under the in-progress pipeline. The story will remain in this pipeline until it's being worked upon. Once done, the developer may ask their technical lead to review the job done and will drag the story under the PR review pipeline. The technical lead will visit the story to see the details of the issue and check the job done by the developer. Once the technical lead finds the job is well done, they can drag the story under the test pipeline. In case the technical lead finds the issue is still not resolved, they will go to the story and comment on the concerns to let the developer know where the problem is rising. Like the code is broken, check again and click on the comment to add it. And the technical lead will drag the story back to the to-do pipeline. The developer will restart the work and drag the story back to in-progress pipeline, and PR review, and if all is well, the story will be moved to the test pipeline. Under to test pipeline suggests that the story is now being tested to check if everything is working fine on the staging level. Once the tester checks everything, they will either move the story under test pass or test fail pipeline. If the test fails, the entire process will restart from the to-do pipeline. If the story has passed the test, it will be checked at the production level, and if all is well, the story will be moved under the finished pipeline, suggesting the task is over. Now for those stories that are no longer required to work upon or have been created again, you can drag the story under archive and it will vanish. Once the stories are moved to archive, they cannot be retrieved again. So if you refresh, you can see the story dragged under archive is no longer visible. You can also mark a story as finished or as an archive, by opening the story and click the same on the top. The start button here actually starts counting the hours the developer is spending on the story, once clicked. Click start and add the estimated hours and begin. You can see the hours spent here. You can see all the activity that is going on when you open the story and click on the activity. The same activities can also be viewed on the dashboard. This was the board showing the life cycle of a story. You are free to create any pipeline that defines the flow of your project. Now we move to the next section, that is, category. This section here is a detailed view of the categories we added in the story. You can also view, add, and edit the categories from here. Simply select the category you wish to view by choosing it from the drop-down menu from the top right corner. For instance, milestone, and you can see all the fields created for that particular category and its details. Add category fields by clicking on the icon at the bottom right corner. Now let's move to targets. Once you click on the Start on the Story page, that story will be shown here in the Targets. Tracker counts every step or activity that occurred during the life cycle of a story. It clearly shows which activity occurred at what time and what was the action taken. Finally, attachments. Simply upload all the relevant documents to the project, so you can save yourselves from mailing every document to all the members involved. Simply attach it here and it can be accessed by all added as a user in the project. So this was the Simmpli Kanban board. It is really simple to use and manage, and you can track the progress of the project very efficiently. If you have queries about how Simmpli can be implemented in your organization, visit our website simpli.com or drop us an email at contact@simmpli.com.